All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, just like when I was adding, I'm going to subtract my fractions first. So I can't take away 4/5 from 2/5. So I'm going to go next door and borrow 1/2 from 3. So if I take 1/2 away from 3, that leaves me with 2. And I'm going to draw my 1/2 over here, but I'm going to split it up into 5 parts. So, right? And so there's my 1/2. And I'm going to shade it in. And then I have 2/5 left, so I have to draw another circle. Split it up into fifths. And color in 2 of those. Okay? Oh, whoops, sorry. I colored them this way. Now, I'm going to take 4 of those fifths away. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to mark them out. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? So I've taken 4/5 away, and now let's count how many fifths I have left. I have 1, 2, 3 fifths left. So my answer there is 3/5, and then I can move over to my whole number section, but 2 minus 2 is 0, so my answer is really just 3/5. Another example, we have 6 1/8 minus 2 5/8. So I'm going to start with my 1/8 minus 5/8. I can't do that, so I'm going to have to borrow from my 1 section. I'm going to take this 6, borrow a 1 from it, so that turns into a 5. And I'm going to put my whole over here, right? So if I have big numbers, I'm just going to draw a rectangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. So now I have 8 pieces, right? And I'm actually going to, once I draw my rectangle, I'm going to break it in half. All right, so this is 1 hole up here, and this is 1 hole down here. Now I'm going to shade in 1 hole for what I borrowed. So I have 1 hole there and 1/8. All right, so this is what I have now in fraction form because I borrowed 1 from the 6 to make it a 5. So there's my 1, and then I have a 1/8 right there. Now I'm taking away 5/8. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I can see that I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm left with 4/8, right? So that's my fraction. And then I do 5 minus 2, which is 3. So my answer is 3 4/8. Now I have 7 2/6, take away 3 5/6. So the first thing I'm going to do again, ooh, that's messy, is work with 2/6 minus 5/6. Well, I can't take 5/6 away from 2/6, so I'm going to go next door and borrow a 1 from the 7, which makes that 7 a 6. And then I'm going to add 1 whole to my 2/6. So adding 1 whole means I'm going to have a rectangle, right? That's broken up into 6 parts. And then I have to make another rectangle that's broken up into 6 parts to represent the 2/6 that I have. So I'm going to shade, I'm going to shade this entire top one in to represent the 1 that I stole from the 7, or I borrowed from the 7. And then the bottom one represents the 2/6. Right? So this hole right here is actually the one that I borrowed from the 7. And then the bottom one is the 2/6. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to mark out 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so as you can see, I'm left with 3/6. Now that I'm done subtracting those fractions, I can do 6 minus 3, which is 3. And my answer is 3 3/6. Now I have 9 2/5, take away 5 4/5. So again, I'm going to start working with my fractions. Well, I can't take 4/5 away from 2/5. So I'm going to borrow from my 9. I'm going to borrow 1 whole from my 9, making that an 8. And then I'm going to draw over here, right, my 1 whole, which I can divide up into 5 parts. And I'm going to shade all of those in because that's 1 whole that I borrowed from the 9 to make it an 8. Then I have 2 more fifths, right? The 2/5 right here. So I'm going to break this up into 5. And then I'm going to shade these 2 in. Now, I can take away the 4/5. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to X out 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you can see, I'm left with 3 of them. So I'm left with 3/5. Now that I've dealt with my fraction piece, I can do my whole number section. So I go to 8 minus 5, which is equal to 3. So my answer is 3 3/5.